dog park committee that the selectman doesn't think this is appropriate. Also stated by Mr. O'Leary was his suggestion that we close the dog park within a reasonable period of time. Maybe we should wait for all the facts to be in before we come to any decision. Maybe we should wait for the Recreation's recommendation and allow enough time to come up with a plan as to how to fund whatever project is approved. The fact is, all recreation parks are in residential areas. This is the makeup of our town. Additionally, according to Mr. Roberts, many of the things that make Park Street not a suitable location for the dog park, Mr. Roberts states, many of these things that make Park Street not a suitable location for the dog park, thanks to the work of the ad hoc committee, of which its members here have greatly improved. Things have greatly improved. Again, 2 out of the 50 petitioners, the only ones that ever participated previously in the ad hoc, states that things have greatly improved. We feel citizens have the right to safely walk their dogs, the same right as walking with their children. Unfortunately, not everyone is capable of being able to walk far enough to significantly exercise their dogs. Considering that only 20% of the townspeople have children, leaves 80% that may choose to have a dog that needs exercise. We do not have all the minutes of past meetings held by the dog park committee and attendance records here with us today, but to the best of our memory, we do not recall any of the members of the Board of Selectmen attending even one of said meetings. As stated above, very few, if any, of the dog park ad hoc committee's advertised meetings were attended by the petitioners. Therefore, this message we believe you are sending to the public is, you may not like what neighbors are doing, and even if a warrant article concerning your dislikes is brought to the town meeting, and those voters in attendance vote to allow the proper committee, in this case the Park and Recreation Committee, to handle this land and its outcome. Does the Board of Selectmen feel they should intervene because you have studied the facts and are more in tune with what's coming, what the outcome should be, and are prepared to take on this project? Now, is this truly the message you would like to send to the residents of North Reading? Some facts you should consider are safety. Safety is an issue of the practitioners. They want to see a soccer field instead of a dog park. They're worried that the road approaching the park is dangerous, and a car could fly over the hill and hit a runaway dog. Something hasn't happened in the park's 8-year existence. Are we more concerned about the dogs than we are the children? Question. The petitioners all are concerned that a child in the area of the dog park may be bitten by a loose dog. If this park closes, certainly the citizens will have the right to walk their dogs at Ipswich River Park, the Chestnut Street Field, the Little League Park, where there are a lot more children running around, and even a dog on a leash can usually reach a child, adult, or another dog and raise havoc. As was pointed out in the November meeting with the ad hoc committee, if the petitioners cannot show up to a meeting where the supposed issue of the children's safety is being discussed, then how seriously should we take their concerns now? In November 2006, upon the request of the Recreation Committee, Mr. Art Grossman, the chairman of the Joint Dog Ad Hoc Committee, forwarded the Board of Selectmen a packet of information regarding the progress of the due diligence done by the Dog Park Committee. Had the Board of Selectmen read the package in detail? You would have found, had the Board of Selectmen read the package in detail, you would have found things such as a new sign has been posted stating the rules of the park, paid for by the committee, a recommendation on potential and available sites to relocate the dog park. This mailing was followed by the request from Mr. Grossman asking the Board of Selectmen response, and no such response was ever received. During a prior televised Board of Selectmen meeting, the Recreation Committee invited the Board of Selectmen to review the current dog park and discuss our options, and the Board of Selectmen has never followed up with Recreation. We would suggest that the Recreation Committee be allowed to continue its process and invite the Board of Selectmen to join us to come to a decision that will work best for all town residents. Now I want to turn it over to Mrs. Mullin.
Thank you. Based on the letter that we sent to the selectmen, because we did ask that at the town meeting, when we handed to the letter, we did ask that night that this hearing shouldn't be had. We believe it's in recreation, so caretakers of the field, and we feel that we should be able to finish. We don't believe that this should have been an open meeting tonight for this. We have a public hearing within 30 days that we were planning on having. We would make our recommendation known. It would be an open meeting for anybody that wanted to come. We would make our recommendation known at that time of the following meeting, what recreation feels like we can do. We've looked at all the facts, we've studied everything. We don't believe it should be tonight. It hasn't been posted in a formal public meeting or anything else. We came just, I guess, with a courtesy because we didn't want the selectmen to make some kind of decision tonight if we weren't here, and then it would be too difficult to ask you to change a decision. We believe it should be left with recreation. We feel that we are appointed by the town administrator. I guess I can only say to the selectmen, if people aren't happy with what the selectmen do, they vote you in or out. If they like you, they vote you in. If they don't like you, they vote you out. We feel as members of recreation, we're doing our job and we're doing it diligently. If the town administrator doesn't like something we're doing, he has a right to not appoint us again. And if the selectmen or the town administrator feels that we're acting not within the due diligence of what we should be doing in recreation, I guess the selectmen at that point could make a suggestion that they remove us from recreation. I guess until that happens, we're still in charge of what happens at the field down there to make our decisions. We'll have a hearing within 30 days, and I don't believe there should really be any other discussion tonight, other than asking us to leave it till then. Thank you very much for your time. And I would like to say, as long as I have the floor, that whatever happens tonight with Ms. Ari and Mr. Vino, it has been a pleasure. 3 years, 6 years working with you, and I do understand it's a very difficult position being a selectman and the amount of work you do. So whatever happens tomorrow, thank you for the time you spent with your services to the town of North Reading.
Comments from the board?
Just a few comments, I guess. Just be a little nitpicky, if I could, Jim. First of all, a mere 50 people is not a mere 50. 50 is a lot of people, first of all, to be hearing from. And considering only 20% of our townspeople have children, we're like 45% of the households in North Reading have children under the age of 18 years of age, according to the 2000 census. That being said, first of all, I anticipated that you would have received a copy of the petition that we received. Okay? If you didn't, if you didn't, I'm sorry that you didn't. You know, I think you should have.
Steve, the answer to that, it was handed, I was in the recreation office one day, and I was handed a petition, the same, what day it was. I was in the recreation office, somebody came in and handed to us. Nothing about it gonna be in a town meeting or anything else.
Right.
I looked at it and said about the dog park, I said, it's okay, well, I said, whatever, you know, I gave it to, pass it on to, somebody else.
And I for one firmly believe that if we're going to be discussing a subject matter that directly involves any appointed board, committee, and commission, that you should be apprised of it beforehand and afford the opportunity to come before us and know ahead of time. So, you know, for that oversight, you know, I apologize, and I think we should be more careful going forward, Mr. Town Administrator in particular. You know, the administration should be very cognizant of and very sensitive to the fact that we have a lot of volunteers, people who volunteer for boards, committees, and commissions, and nobody should be blindsided in relation to any matter that comes before the board that's on our agenda. So for the oversight, you know, I, for one, apologize. That shouldn't happen. That still doesn't change.
Can I just add to that? I delivered to the town hall the same day I brought it to the TA and brought it to all you guys. I handed to read all of the same.
I know, but I think the fact still remains is that they weren't apprised of the situation that it was going to be on our agenda. think that's where the bone of contention is.
That's right, and I
The
would-
recreation
yeah, I would-
and the ad hoc committee wasn't apprised of the
Okay.
situation that was gonna be put on the agenda for the board to discuss. As was the case for even the petitioner, because there was nobody here that evening. So there was a disconnect somewhere along the way between the board, the administration, the petitioners, and the recreation and the ad hoc committee. So that system needs to be a little more fine-tuned. So, I mean, everybody should be apprised of the situation, nobody should be blindsided. But in relation to the position that I've taken on this particular issue, I think I've been pretty consistent, pretty clear right from the beginning, that, I don't believe that it's an appropriate place. Do I have a solution? No. Do I think that we should try and find a solution? Yes. I think that solution should not include where it's currently located. I mean, I don't want to get into the whole history of how it got there and how it developed and how it evolved, and what's happened. There's no doubt there's been some significant steps taken in order to mitigate the impact on the neighborhood since the issue was really brought to light, brought to town meeting. Town meeting last fall, with the agreement of the board, recreation, everybody else said, take a look at it. Come to some sort of see if you can come to some sort of resolution. I thought the board was very clear in their position last fall that none of us felt, I don't mean to speak to them, I can't speak for themselves, but I believe there was the unanimity on the board at the time that none of us felt that this was an appropriate location, the amount and level of activity that was taking place there in relation to being a dog park. And strongly urged the ad hoc committee of recreation to find some other suitable alternative if possible, within a reasonable time frame. So, in relation to my quotes and all the rest, my position remains the same. I still don't think it's appropriate, and I want the ad hoc committee to continue it and do their work. It sounds as though you've come to some conclusion. Is that true?
We sent you the package. We have sent you.
With a number of options, that was the package that you're referring to.
And within 30 days, we have the hearing, we'll discuss all those options. And the option is to update you, the three options that are left on the table is the mowing field, which is quite costly, and it may.
Potential wetland issue.
Right, potential conservation wetland issue, and when that park is developed, it may be in a place that we may extend the park to. But it's still, it's an option. Walmart properties, we looked at for 9 months. Mr. Grossman has been contacting for 9 months, no answer. At this point, within the next 30 days, recreation will take it off the table. We want a viable option, because we don't own the land, and we can only ask somebody that may loan us or lease us the property, will you do it? If they don't answer us after continual calls, we'll probably take it off the option. And the other option is leave it at Park Street, fix up the front, make it a nice passive recreation, and make it a dog park. And a fourth option could be close it. Those are the four options we have that are left on the table that will be discussed.
And to be clear, that excludes the other 12 that we looked at and
Right.
turned down for
But
their
it's,
variety.
right, without getting into, again, the whole public hearing, because we don't think that's what should happen tonight, that's what it came down to. Those are all the options, we, let the selectmen know where we were back in November. To think that nothing's happened from November to today is not true. It's been winter. Things haven't happened. We have checked off and checked off. Those are the four options we're down to. We'll have a public hearing within 30 days. Recreation will make their, make their report at that time and decide what we intend to do. And if what we intend to do is not, so far, I guess, for the 30 years I've been on the committee, when recreation makes a decision, we're going to attempt to do something, we either do it, and we pay for it, and I suppose if there's any problem at that point, then it's up to the selectmen after that. But, if there's an issue, but we will make that decision at the public hearing or the meeting after the public hearing. Those are the four issues that are left.
First of all, I'd like to make a comment, and I will apologize. As chair, I set the agenda. I put the items on the agenda. Generally, I communicate with our administrative staff to notify anyone that's being impacted by the agenda. How that broke down, I don't know whether it's because I didn't emphasize it or what, it happened. It was not intentional, and I do again apologize for it, first of all.
Can I help you?
Yes.
That was the week I was on vacation. I arrived the day of the selectmen's meeting. You also recall that Mr. Hamlin had a death in his family. He was the acting town administrator. He was absent during the days that the